Hi Thai! My name is Christal Burnette. I'm an Okinawan longevity expert, Okinawan health and plant specialist, and today I'm going to tell you about my depression story in Tokyo. Yesterday, Takashi from Japan came to Okinawa and he wanted to interview me about my specialty, which is Okinawan longevity. When I was telling him a bit about that story, I had to include what also pushed me to move to Okinawa. And a part of that was me becoming depressed in Tokyo. I not only wanted to learn about health, I had an inkling, I had a feeling that being happy was connected to longevity. And that is one of the many reasons I moved to Okinawa to learn about the longevity island. Now, in Takashi from Japan's short reel, maybe not even a minute, there are many views, comments, and likes. And in the comments, a lot of people are resonating with me and understanding how I felt, because I am not the only person to experience depression in Tokyo. No one prepares you for this. Everyone sees Japan as this magical land. If you're into anime, you see it as a magical anime land where you can go and live happily ever after. For me, I was inspired by the culture. One of the movies, Memoirs of a Geisha, which I know isn't a super Japanese authentic movie, but that movie introduced me to the beauty, which pushed me to learn the language, and then I fell in love with it. So moving to Japan, I thought I was going to find happiness, and I'm sure a lot of other people thought that as well. And then when you move to Tokyo especially, you'll find that it is nothing like you imagined. Tokyo, Japan in general, is so different than what people tell you. Today I'm going to explain more details about my depression story because some people were taking things the wrong way in Takashi from Japan's video. I want to explain that story and as well give you 3 tips on how to get out of that depression if you're experiencing it in Japan, because these 3 tips worked for me. And then I'm going to explain what I do here in Okinawa, how I started my own company and sponsor my own visa. To start, and I could talk forever about this and give a plethora of details, but I'm gonna try to keep it short. So I was 21, I just turned 21. I flew from Florida to Tokyo and I was so excited. I just had all these images and dreams and just this whole image of Japan being this beautiful, wonderful, fun place that I'm gonna live happily ever after. And no, I was actually a little bit depressed before going to Tokyo to study abroad at Aoyama Gakuin University. I was feeling down in the University of Florida, where I was, and I thought if I move to Tokyo, everything's gonna get fixed. I'm gonna be happy, I'm gonna live there forever. I thought I was gonna live in Tokyo forever, and everything's gonna be great. And so I was depressed a little bit. I was sad. I wouldn't say I was falling in depression because I had that hope holding me on to, oh, when I go to Tokyo, it'll be fine. So I study abroad in Tokyo and I moved to Tokyo and it is great. If you are thinking of studying abroad in Tokyo or Japan, anywhere, it's going to be wonderful. You're going to have a great experience. As a student, an exchange student, it is a wonderful, fun experience. The school should be taking care of you. You should have other foreign exchange students in the same boat as you, so you shouldn't have any problems. Now, I've heard some sad stories of exchange students in Japan, but I don't want to scare you if you're thinking about studying abroad in Japan. I had a wonderful time. My depression story starts though when I graduated. So when studying abroad was over, I graduated. Everyone else around me graduated as well, or graduated the study abroad period. And everyone went back except for me. I made a decision that I will study abroad my senior year of university and then just stay in Tokyo. And that's how I anchored myself there. And that did work. I had my apartment, I had an extended visa to give me time to think about what I want to do next. But everyone else left and it was just me. Now, I had Japanese friends, but I wasn't commuting to school anymore. All those friends I made were at Aoyama University, and I wasn't commuting to school with them, so I wasn't seeing them every day or every other day. I wasn't talking to them as much, and then as a result, we weren't texting as much, and then the connection just started to get thinner and thinner and thinner. Now I still have, I want to say, I have one good friend that I still have in Tokyo. To talk a little bit about life in Tokyo, of course it's what you make it, but when you're 21, turning 22, just turned 22, you don't know anything about anything. You don't know anything about the world. You don't know how to go out there and get what you want, find what you like, meet people who you want to meet. It's very hard. You can't blame someone in their early 20s for not figuring things out. And that was me at the age of 21. If I could talk to myself now and guide myself, I would be so happy. I wish I could, but that's not the way life works. My depression story doesn't end there. I graduated, I staying in my apartment. All my Japanese friends are still going to school, they're busy with homework. All my foreign exchange student friends have left, and now it's just me, alone. I didn't know what I wanted to do next exactly. I was scared to move to Okinawa at first. But I did look into it. I started looking into what I was going to do next. I did do a little bit of shūshoku katsudo, which is finding a job. I got so depressed from that because there was no company I wanted to work for in Tokyo. Black kigyo, a black company. Those are the companies that overwork you and underpay you, and they make you even more depressed. And I knew that if I stayed in Tokyo, I might have done the worst thing someone could do, because if I was already depressed after graduating, before getting a job, looking at the depressed salariman on the train, the depressed Japanese salaryman workers, I knew I was gonna just turn into them. And I knew, I had intuition in my heart that this is not the path I should take. So working in Tokyo was off the board, and I got the great idea of doing graduate school. I knew I wanted to study health. I wasn't sure where to do it. I thought Tokyo was the best option because it has the best schools. So I did look into Waseda, and I did talk to a counselor at Waseda, and they were very welcoming. But there was just something in the back of my head that told me, you gotta go somewhere where there's nature. You need to go somewhere where there's the ocean. And I thought about the Longevity Island. I had an Okinawan friend tell me, Christal, he got mad at me. He yelled at me, he said, Christal, there's more to just Tokyo in Japan. There are more prefectures. Why are you so fixated on Tokyo? Look at Okinawa, for example. It's just one example. It's the Longevity Island. And I've never heard of the Longevity Island before. I've been on this planet for 21 years and no one's ever told me about the Longevity Island? Yeah, that was the mind-blowing moment that changed my life. So I hear about the Longevity Island. I know I have a passion for learning about health and learning how to get healthy, coming from the country that has an obesity rate of more than 50%. And I looked into graduate schools. I wanted to improve my Japanese. I wanted to get more education, especially in the health sector. And so I found the University of Ryukyu's. I applied. I flew to Okinawa for 2 days to take the entrance exam. I met friends who were going to be my colleagues instantly. They drove me around. They helped me get back to the little tiny apartment, I guess you'd call it, that I was staying in, because I didn't have money for a regular hotel. And they were very nice. And then I kind of got out of my depression again. And I did it again, the same thing I did in Florida, thinking I was gonna get fixed if I go to Tokyo. Now, before taking the entrance exam and after taking the entrance exam, I had many months to just be by myself. And this is the point where I did become a little bit of a hikikomori, which is a person who just stays in their apartment and never leaves. It's not like I never went out. I did go out occasionally. I try to hang out with friends sometimes. So in the months before and after the entrance exam, I was just waiting around. I was just waiting for my better life again. And then I moved to Okinawa. and I'm a graduate student. Now, I had a great experience learning about Okinawan herbs, plants, cultivation, longevity. That's what my channel is about. But let me tell you, I got depressed in Okinawa. I told Takashi from Japan, my depression story does not end there. This is when I learned that it's not about where you are. It's about how you make the life where you are, about who you're with. So to end it quickly, I got depressed in Okinawa. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I realized that my depression stemmed from loneliness and not having a ikigai, or a passion. Now, the story does have a happy ending. I do find my ikigai, my passion, and I finally become not lonely. The depression in Okinawa started before I was about to graduate. What am I gonna do with my life? There's no company here I wanna work for. Again, there's still black companies in Okinawa as well. How am I gonna get a visa? All my friends are gonna graduate. This is gonna be Tokyo all over again. I made my own company. My depression and my passion for longevity pushed me to make a company. I told myself, Christal, if you want to be happy, if you want to be content, you need to do what you want to do. And that is making your own company, doing what you want and making money at the same time, and surrounding yourself with people who you really connect with. And that's what I did. So that's gonna lead me to the 3 tips on if you have depression in not just Tokyo, but anywhere in Japan. This is what I did for myself without even realizing it. And now looking back and knowing about Okinawan longevity, I can say that these can really help you if you have depression in Japan. Number 1, if you're living in Japan and you're having trouble, I, over everything, highly recommend learning Japanese. I am a part of a lot of social media groups where people vent their problems, and 98% of them can be solved by learning Japanese. I know that's not what people want to hear, but this is Japan and the language is Japanese, and that is what everyone speaks. So if you are needing that push to learn Japanese, I strongly suggest it, because as you learn Japanese, your opportunities will grow, doors will open, and you'll be able to talk to anyone and make friends with anyone. If you are having trouble with Japanese, please reach out to other foreigners. I didn't do that in Tokyo. I didn't do that in Okinawa because there's very few of them. But just reach out to people and speak the language. And if Japanese is not your native language, if English is not your native language, just try. Just start speaking at people, and if your personality comes out, I'm sure you can make friends. Number 2, a lot of people mention this in the comments of Takashi from Japan's short reel, and I agree with them. A lot of people were offended and they thought that I was talking bad about Tokyo. I like Tokyo. If I could go back, I could probably establish a great life there, now, knowing what I know now with the skills that I have. Now it is about perspective. Number 2, you gotta change your perspective. So like I said, I was depressed in Florida, and then I was depressed in Tokyo, and then I was depressed in Okinawa. So it is about perspective. It's not about where you are. It's about how you control your life, because that's the only thing you can control, is what you do and how you perceive things. So try to think about, what is your perspective? Are you always being negative about the things in the place that you're living? So for example, Tokyo. If you're living in Tokyo and everywhere you go, you're just thinking in your head, that person's mean, that person looks cold, I hate the trains, I hate when the trains get full, I hate all these steps, I hate having to walk all the time. Gotta get those negative thoughts out of your head. I had those negative thoughts, and it was hard to get rid of them in Okinawa. The Okinawans actually taught me that. It's a big part of longevity. I got those negative thoughts out, I got the positive thoughts in, and my perspective changed. The place did not change. The Okinawa didn't change. I changed. So it is true that you need to change your perspective, become more positive, and think of ways how to improve your life. Number 3, find your ikigai. Find your passion. It sounds cheesy. The current ikigai book that is out there, I don't agree with it. Your ikigai it's hard to translate what it is into English. I am very close with one of the promoters of Ikigai, maybe you could call him a founder of Ikigai, Dr. Makoto Suzuki. And when people from all over the world come to interview him about Ikigai, or interview me about Ikigai here in Okinawa, they ask, what is it? How do you find it? What do you do with it? It's not that easy. Ikigai is something in your heart, and it sounds cheesy, I know. It is in your heart, and you need to ask yourself, are you doing what you truly want to do? When I was in Tokyo, I didn't ask myself that. I thought, Tokyo, biggest city, gotta stay here. I didn't ask myself, do I truly want to be in Tokyo? Now I know that I truly want to be in Okinawa with the Okinawan people. Now, Ikigai is not that easy, but please follow my channel because I will be making videos on how to find your Ikigai. But if you do not have an Ikigai, if you do not have a passion, you'll be going through life with your eyes closed. Your body will know that you're not doing what you are not doing what you want to do. And your eyes will close to get you through the day. You will see people going to work and hating their job because they're not doing what they like. And since they hate their job, they become a little more depressed, they become very not content in their heart, and that just leads to, it's a ripple effect. It kind of really affects your life in a negative way. I didn't know my Ikigai, I didn't know my passion, and I was searching for it in Tokyo, and I found it, so I came to Okinawa. But even still in Okinawa, I still had to search for it. So if you are depressed in Japan, and Osaka, Yamagata, Shiga, Hokkaido, wherever you are, take the place out of the picture for a second and ask yourself, are you doing what you want to do? Now, this leads to the third part of my video. I started my own company here in Okinawa, and I sponsor my own visa. That is how I stay here. I have one of the hardest visas to get in Japan. It is a business manager's visa. Now, I bet a lot of people that are watching this video probably looked into their heart to try to find their Ikigai, and they already knew in 2 seconds they are not doing what they want to do, because most foreigners in Japan are teaching English. And not everyone loves to teach English. Now, there are people who do love it, and that is great, and I'm glad that they are teaching English, because Japan needs passionate English teachers, because we all know that Japan is terrible at English. But if teaching English is not your passion, obviously you need to keep doing it if you need to pay rent and pay bills, but in the meantime, I want you to think about your other options. And that's what I did. I made the big leap to never work at a Japanese company and make my own, because I wanted to do what I wanted to do and make money. Now, was it easy at first? Absolutely not. I was struggling. I could barely buy food, just barely paying rent. I was living off of savings. It was a whole thing with my company, and that's another video for another day. But I want to let you know that there are options. Anything is doable. I don't care if it's Japan or America, Canada, Australia, United Kingdom, anything is doable if you have the will. And my will was to establish a company here in Okinawa and be the president of that company and sponsor my own visa so I could stay in this country, not dependent on a marriage license, not dependent on an English school. I didn't want to be dependent on anyone but myself. Now, I had a lot of trouble with that, being a company owner. Of course, it's not easy, but it was fun, and I was passionate, and I did wake up every day thinking, what can I do today to make money? What can I do today to network? What can I do today to get closer to my passion of creating Okinawan health products and teaching about Okinawan longevity? And that's what I do today, and it has grown. It's been 6 years now. I think it's been 6 years. I'm on my 6th year. Or 7th year, can't remember. It's been a pretty long time. And it is growing, it is getting bigger. I am succeeding. I want to let you know that I still am not rich. I'm still struggling in a sense, but I want you to watch me because I will succeed. I will grow bigger, and I want to teach people all over Japan that they can do it too. You have options. If I can succeed, you can succeed. If this little white girl, as people like to call me, and I call myself, this little white girl in Japan can succeed by making her own company, then you can do it too. Anyone can do it. Thank you for watching this video. if you resonate with what I went through in Tokyo, please comment. If you have any questions about how I did all of this, I will answer you. I love answering comments and I will talk to you. I am an Okinawan longevity expert, and within that is mental health. Now I will tell you at the end of this video, because you watched to the end, the secret to longevity is actually mental health. It is 50% food and exercise, 50% mentality and social connections. If you're going to feed your body good food, you need to feed your mind good thoughts. And that is one of the methods of getting out of depression, at least for me. Now I'm going to end this video like I always do with Okinawan language. Nife de biru. Thank you. And yutashiku unige sabira, which is yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Bye!